So what's up with Kakwenza? Well, he has petitioned the European Union delegation in Uganda asking that visa bans be imposed on some government officials over what he says is their role in the abuse of human rights for Ugandans. In his petition, which he says needs urgency, Kakwenza says that he is driven by deep concern regarding the apparent failure of the 27 member states of the EU to effectively enforce the union's policy on human rights and corruption in Uganda. He said, quote, "The European Union bears a moral obligation to uphold and defend the rights of the oppressed, especially when such rights are brutally violated by a government it supports. Recent reports have shed light on alarming homophobia by certain influential individuals like the Speaker of Parliament, Deputy Speaker, and several others who openly spewed homophobic comments in the media and aggressively or undemocratically championed the passage of the Anti-Homosexuality Act 2023. This abhorrent behavior," he says, "and subsequent legislation flagrantly disregards the universal principles that the European Union staunchly upholds and seeks to protect. Such a draconian law infringes upon the rights and the dignity of the LGBTQ plus and on he goes." So the question is, this petition, which of course he is free to present, will it be honored and taken into consideration by the European Union? It is not as though they don't know that this government is guilty of all of the things Kakwenza is pointing out.
Well, to begin with, they know, like you said.
They know
everything that has been happening. Whether they deem the president or the government guilty is a story for another day. But you see, this is not how politics works. Mm-hmm. And the European Union will be involved in matters that benefit them. If it doesn't benefit them, they're going to look the other way. Now, Kakwenza goes ahead to speak about the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill. And of course, the European Union or some of its member states have been vocal about it and how displeased they were when this was passed. But at the end of the day, this country is a sovereign nation and it has a right to pass certain policies and laws as it sees fit. Now, you may call in the European Union to do something, but the president has been sending a message that this is my house. And I'm going to do as I wish with my house.
Well, he recently, obviously, once he got granted bail for the charges that were applied to him when he, abused the president's son. He went into exile, right?
Yes.
He escaped the country. I think he first went to Rwanda, and then from there escaped to Germany.
Yes.
And later he was joined by his sweetheart.
Yes, I see him posting his children on his.
I was referring to Stella Nyanzi. His sweetheart.
That's a family. Oh my God.
Oh no! He found her there, I think.
Yes, and then later on, I don't know about Stella Nyanzi, but later on, his wife and 3 children joined him.
Okay. So, and he also recently bagged a serious chunk of change. He won an award.
Yes, he won an award, and most recently...
A literary award.
Yes, and most recently, he was also admitted to 2 universities to do his Masters of Law.
Can you imagine?
Yes, and by the way, I never knew that he was a lawyer to start with.
Is he?
I always knew that he was a writer, but... You can only do a master's in law if you have a law degree, an undergraduate degree.
I would think so too, yeah. Although I'm not sure. Okay, so I do take issue with the aspect of constantly running to
the European
Union, US government. Whenever we have issues with our politics here, many of our political actors in the opposition, they like to run to the US, to the donors basically, and try to get them to apply pressure. Now, the danger of that is, aren't we training ourselves, aren't we training our government to not consider the views or the plight or the complaints of Ugandans, and instead only take it seriously if it were to come from the EU or the US?
No, I think the reason, I know the reason why the opponents of the government run to the EU or run to the West for that matter is because they know that this is the air that we breathe. Basically, the West supplies us with the air that we breathe. They give us the money that we use to run many different projects projects in our country, be it health or whatever. In most cases, even our roads, you're going to find the Japanese through JICA sponsoring the construction of some roads. So they know that if we can make these people cut off the aid, then the government will not have the strength or the legs to stand on to oppress people. You get. So what do? You go back to the person that is empowering this person that is oppressing you and ask them to cut out the aid. And if the aid is cut...
should we not be showing our government that we as local citizens also have muscle our own?
Which muscle do you have on your own?
You see,
you have money?
But you see, that's the problem. That's why I'm saying it is up to us to devise ways of building that muscle so that we can apply pressure on this government, because I don't think it's healthy for I guess for citizens of a country and civil rights groups
to run to another country,
because we're always complaining about colonialism. How is it you're complaining about colonialism on one hand, and yet on the other hand, anytime you need to be saved from your government, you run to the same colonists?
Well, unfortunately, neocolonialism is still here because
we are enforcing it by treating them as saviors.
Because our governments all across Africa have ensured that we still remain in the arms of the colonialists. So our leaders have not made us independent enough to win ourselves off.
My problem
that comes from
my problem
countries.
with what you're saying is you're making it see our leaders. Look, who are our leaders? Our leaders comes from us. Our leaders don't fall from the sky.
You see, we vote
We
them.
produce our leaders.
Yes, we do. But some of the decisions that they make when they go into places of power, let's say parliament, you send your leader there to represent you. Maybe you need roads. Maybe you need hospitals in your constituency. What does he do when he goes to parliament? He votes for removal of age limits.
But see, I'm not disagreeing with you that they are ineffective and often do things that are counter to our best interests. I'm saying that unless us as a citizenry, as a nation, devise a framework by which we ourselves, through our own incentive and our own ingenuity, can hold our leaders accountable, punish them for failure to adhere to their pledges and promises.
But how can we do that? Because, for instance, the Constitution allows us to converge and peacefully demonstrate against some of the policies and, many things that our leaders do that are against our wishes.
No, but see, Olive,
you see, in this country... No, because
you're being defeatist.
No, I'm not being defeatist.
You're saying, what can we do?
No, I'm being realistic.
So we just sit here and do nothing?
What are you suggesting? Because you're speaking in blanket statements. You're saying we should be able to hold them accountable, and among the things that we do to hold our leaders accountable is usually to maybe peacefully demonstrate. We are not allowed to do that. You go to the streets. As far as if you ever go to the street and anything you stand for is against the government, no one is even going to let you walk a mile before police comes in and they say that you didn't get permission to converge.
You do not see the defeatist attitude?
But
I'm not disagreeing with you.
At least I'm mentioning what is supposed to be done. Are you mentioning what is supposed to be done?
Listen to me. I'm not disagreeing with you that all these roadblocks exist. I'm not disagreeing with you that these abuses are rampant, in spite of the fact that these are constitutionally protected rights. All of this is true. And yes, it does seem as though our hands are tied. But I'm saying rushing to foreigners is not the solution also.
No, rushing to foreigners to ask them to cut the aid of the government that is oppressing its people doesn't seem like a defeatist move.
It is. Do you know why? That foreign aid affects our economy. If you cut aid, you see this aid, and Andrew Menda has made this point. Yeah, so a government worker, civil servant, is going to embezzle money, steal the aid and do what? But what is he going to do with that aid that he steals? He's going to buy a plot of land and build a house, right? Or he's going to build a school. Or he's going to start a business. All these things add value to the economy. You may hate to hear it, and it sucks to say, but it's kind of true, isn't it?
But you see what I'm trying to say. For instance, let me use you as an example. If, let's say, you are a terrible employer, maybe there have been cases of sexual harassment reported in RX Radio, and you looked the other way, you did nothing about it, and someone goes to some of your clients and tells them, you know what, your company stands for inclusivity and respect for all, right? But in this company that you are giving business, there are cases of sexual harassment, and the proprietor has not listened to the plight of the employees. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to get your client to stop giving you business, hoping that when they do that, your company will not stand. Okay. And when your company can't stand, maybe then they will be listened to. Maybe then, let's say you have a board. Maybe the board will vote, and maybe you're taken away from the presidency of the company.
So first
this
of all,
is what opposition leaders are trying to do.
By the way, I like your example very much, but just let's make it clear that it's just hypothetical.
It is hypothetical.
It is a hypothetical example.
Yes, it is.
Or it's not.
No,
Be clear.
No. It is hypothetical. There is no sexual harassment here. But I wanted to bring it home.
All right. And it's a very powerful example. You're right. If you can't find recourse within the structure in which you're operating, sometimes you have to approach it externally. You look for external pressure points. And yes, it would inconvenience me greatly if people approached my clients or prospective clients and damaged my reputation. It would not be good for the business. But when we do that I feel like there's a slight difference between that and something like the international community, because that's more geopolitical. Remember, right now, what are we doing? We are cheering on our friends in West Africa, these military juntas that are supposedly standing up.
Who is cheering them on? Because the last time I checked, our president and other presidents are saying these are no times for taking power by force.
Our leaders are complaining, but the citizens of those
countries, yes,
the people on the street.
Yeah, in Niger, people are actually trying to even protect the junta.
Yes, everyone's looking at this as a very Pan-African wave of resistance against colonialism.
But haven't you seen this happen in Sudan? Haven't you seen this happen in, did it happen in Tunisia? Okay, every time something of this sort has come up, people have celebrated in the beginning, only for them to realize later on that it is just old wine in a new bottle.
That's what I keep saying, but people don't believe it. In fact, I did a recent segment on the situation in these West African countries, which is doing fairly well. I posted it on YouTube, and it has attracted a lot of attention, and there's people commenting from across the continent who are mostly attacking me, who they think I'm an agent of the colonialists because I'm critical of these coups. But anyway, that aside, I feel like it sets a dangerous precedent, and it pushes us further and further into the bosom of these people that we are trying to obtain some form of independence from.
And the truth is that we cannot be independent if we keep running to these people for help. But unfortunately, the leaders that we've had for over maybe 50 years, now by 50, I'm trying to cast the net wider into Africa, because I didn't know that we have presidents in Africa that have been presidents longer than our own president. We thought our president had been president. Cameroon has a president that cannot even walk without aid.
Yeah.
And
I think Museveni is like the third longest serving.
And compared to others, he's not even that old. Because he's still lucid. He's still walking without aid. He still speaks, and you can see that he understands what he's saying, and there is no coercion or anything. Because by the time Mugabe passed...
yeah, he had lost his luster. I would say.
A rumor has it that Grace, his wife, was running the show,
and I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, so to our friend Kakwenza, who's there filing petitions for the European Union, delegation. Well, good luck regarding these travel restrictions. Certainly, if they are applied to some of the top echelons of our political leadership, I'm sure it would sting. If, for example, Muhoozi was not allowed to travel to the EU, that would hurt him badly. It would hurt his ego, and it would inconvenience him greatly. him and maybe other members of, let's say, the First Family or whoever else. And I haven't read the petition. I don't know who in particular he has singled out.
Among those is the Speaker of Parliament, obviously,
Even the
because
Speaker.
she was very vocal about the anti-homosexuality bill. But what I like about this new development of, maybe banning people from traveling to these countries or doing business there is that it is those particular individuals rather than what
The
it
whole
used to
country.
be in the past, where you would say Ugandans are not allowed to maybe travel to the US or
So
the
sanctions
EU.
should be limited more to the individuals
Exactly, because
of interest.
yes, if you were there passing the anti-homosexuality bill, I was at RX Radio doing my job. Why should I be denied a visa because of the decision that you made? I wasn't party to it. A matter of fact, no one consulted me.
All right. Well, I have had my run-ins with Kakwenza. He's previously said unkind things about me.
You weren't very kind either.
And he has claimed credit for me being a father now. He said because he abused me, I had to prove him wrong by siring a child. Because that was what he attacked me for. He said he attacked my ability to procreate.
But you see, Fatboy,
He said I had an empty tank.
I seldom feel sorry for you, because when you decide to go nasty,
Come
you
on,
go
I'm
nasty.
nice and sweet and friendly.
Oh, come on. Sweet and
But
nice
anyway.
and friendly, were you?
Kakwenza, ever the interesting character. Do keep listening to the Fatboy Show to number one station RX Radio. Sarah's coming in shortly to tell us what's popping.